One thing I was going to suggest, if you have issues with your wrists, and sometimes I do, and almost 100% of the time, except for today, I carry a towel with me. And if your wrists are bothering you, what you can do is fold up a towel. Does anybody have one that I can just use as a demo? Thank you. You can take this towel and fold it up a couple of times. And then put your palms, the heel of your palms, onto the towel. That gives more space for your fingers. If you have Dupuytrens like I do, which the hand starts to crunch up, that helps. But it makes it a little bit more comfortable. And if the reverse is so, you can always put it underneath your fingers. My name is Clint, and this is Ashtanga Yoga. Now, before we start, and you can stand up so that you can see a little bit better, but I'd like to walk through a Namaskura B, which, as you know, is one of the warm-up poses. And you hear me saying these words, and it's quick. And because each movement is within one inhale or one exhale. So to start, you'll be in Tadasana. You don't have to do this with me, but you can if you wish. To start, on an inhale, you drop your seat and raise your arms up. And then on an exhale, you forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway, your gaze is at the horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat, step or jump back to plank, and come down halfway. That's all on your exhale. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. And I'll pause here for just a moment. The next inhale, you have to step forward. And you don't have time to turn that left foot out. So as soon as you come up into down dog, turn that left foot out about 45 degrees. And then inhale, step forward. Rise up to warrior one, inhale. And then it's exhale right back down, back to plank, and down halfway. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Turn the right foot up right away and step with your left foot. Inhale up. And then exhale right back down again to plank. Down halfway. Inhale up dog. And exhale up to down dog for 5 breaths where you rest. And the intention is to build heat and warm up your body. Obviously, your shoulders get warmed up quickly. Your back is warmed up. Your thighs, your glutes, your quads, your hamstrings. And that's the foundation for all the moves that you're going to be doing. And then when we go into the standing poses, those work one at a time, first to relieve your wrists and your arms and your shoulders of doing all those vinyasas. And the vinyasa is from plank, it's called Chaturanga, where you come down halfway and then you go into up dog and then back up into down dog. But slowly from there, you go to triangle, where you start twisting, and then side angle, prasarita, where you're working on your spine, you're working on your groins, and prasarita, which is the one with your legs out wide. And then the seated poses come, and the seated poses are, again, working a little bit more on your hips. And a lot is when you're seated, you're forward folding, which is in a flexion of your legs. And Janusirsasana, where you have your foot into your thigh, you're rotating your femur in your hip socket. And I've added one just because of time to bring that heel to the opposite hip crease, which increases the twist and the, anyway, it increases the work on your hip. Ultimately, to get your body flexible enough to get into lotus position. Now, the full series, basic series is about a 90-minute class. And it starts with 5 Namaskura A's, which are 1 sun salutation, and 5 Namaskura B's, which are 5 of what I just showed you. I can't do 5 of those in a row. And some of you might be able to, but we're not going to do that. And I don't think we'll ever get to do that here. I just don't think that's worth it, because it would take up so much time. And then you'd be so bloody tired that you wouldn't be able to do anything else. So anyway, are there any questions? And I thrive on questions.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a hard time going into Chaturanga.
Okay. A couple of alternatives for Chaturanga. I'm glad you brought that up. In fact, I'll pay you after. Okay, so you come down and you step back into plank. Your plank can be table. Okay. Your plank can be all the way down onto your belly. And then inhale to cobra. And for cobra, now my elbows are wide. That's not a cobra. Your elbows want to be next to your rib cage, and you lift up. Notice my knees are down. That's fine. And then inhale, you can curl your toes under, come up into down dog, or come up into table, come back into child's pose if you wish. That's fine. And taking these modifications are what make this good for you. And the more you know about your body and how your body's going to respond, makes you a better yogi, because you don't want to hurt yourself. That's the worst thing that can happen in any yoga class. So know what your body limitations are. Let your breath tell you what they are. If something hurts, back up. By back up, I mean modify. Make it easier. Or completely skip the pose. A couple of other options that you have for, instead of plank, or maybe you come back into plank, then you drop your knees, and then you come forward on that exhale, down onto your belly, and then up. So it's knees, chin, chest. And then again, you have your choice. Another way that you might want to do this, and during the standing poses, I'll tell you it's optional to continue with another vinyasa, but you can inhale Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. And then exhale, hands to the mat. Just come down again into forward fold. And rise all the way back up. And come into Tadasana. And breathe in and out through your nose. You get way more oxygen into your system when you breathe through your nose. When you breathe through your mouth, you bypass all the benefits of cleansing and preparing your breath to get into your lungs. But worse is you don't get added pressure. When you breathe through your nose, you're increasing the pressure of the air in your lungs so that under higher pressure, there's more oxygen extraction from your lungs. So they work more efficiently. Okay. I think that's about it. I don't know much more. But anyway, if you have questions, please come to me at the end of the class, or if there's something that you want to see in another class, let me know and I'll try to incorporate it. There is going to be one different standing pose, so you can do that if you want or not. Okay, let's all start standing at the top of your mat. Bring your feet about hip width apart. By the way, my name is Clint. This is Ashtanga Yoga. Did I say that before? Yes. Okay. Well, now you won't forget. From here, inhale your shoulders up towards your ears, rotate back. Get your shoulder blades to kiss. Isometrically draw your feet toward each other, engaging all the muscles of your legs. Take your upper inner thighs, rotate them towards the back of the room, in towards each other and towards the back, and then tuck your tailbone under. If your chest is really pointed straight out, maybe take a finger and just push in at your solar plexus, just a bit, and then tuck your chin. Your gaze should be at the horizon or at the horizon through your eyelids. And begin to engage your bandhas. First, your mula bandhas, your pelvic floor muscles, those Kegel muscles that you learned how to tighten up during childbirth. Breathing in and out through your nose. And then add your Uddiyana bandhas, those muscles halfway between your navel and your pubic bone. And notice the transition of your breath up to the upper parts of your lungs. Focus on your breath and observe. And then engage your Jalalhara bandhas at the back of your throat. Begin to close off your glottis so that your breath has sound, both coming in and going out. You sound a little bit like Darth Vader. And this also increases the pressure of the air in your lungs. And if you are able to engage your bandhas in these poses, you'll maintain heat, which will add to your flexibility and improve your postures. Begin to deepen your breath. If you're not at the top of your mat, step forward. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands by your side. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale back down. We're going to do a real quick warm-up today. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive all the way over. Bend your knees a little or a lot. And then with each breath, straighten-ish your legs. Testing your hamstrings. With each inhale, straighten-ish your legs a little bit more. And each exhale, maybe forward fold a little more. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, halfway up, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samasthiti. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive all the way over, hands to the mat. From here, right hand stays down, left hand comes out to the side, around and up to a side bend or twist. Your object is to get your shoulder blades vertical. And 5, release, left hand down. Inhale, right arm up. And notice if this side is any different. And don't be surprised if it is. 4, 5, left hand down. Inhale, up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samasthiti. Listen carefully, arms up overhead. Pause here, grab your left wrist with your right hand, bring your weight into your left foot, and begin to side bend to the right. Bring all your weight into your left foot. The foot farthest away from the direction you're bending. Try to keep that left arm over your ear. Try not to bend forward. You want this to be a true side bend. And 5, inhale all the way back up. Change hands. Right hip goes out. Weight into your right foot and bend to the left. And inhale, come all the way back up. And hands to Samasthiti. Okay, now we're going to warm up. We'll do a few Namaskura A's and then we'll get into the B's. From Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to planks. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Pause here. Three, walk out your dog. 4, and 5. Look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead, and hands to Samasthiti. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank, down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. You can walk this out. If your heels are touching the floor, lengthen your stance. Become longer. 4, and 5. Look between your hands, hop, step, float to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. And hands to Samastitihi. One more of these. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank, down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. 4. And 5. Look between your hands, hop, step, float. Forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samastitihi. Okay, now we have the Namaskura A or B. So, starting in Tadasana. On the inhale, drop your seat, raise your arms. Exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Turn that left foot out right away. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Rise up to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot turns out. Left foot comes forward. Inhale, rise up to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step into forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms into Utkatasana. Rise all the way up. And hands to Samastitihi. After class, I'd like to hear from you if you missed that plank where we held for about 5 or 6 or 8 breaths. Okay, we have another Nam B. Start in Tadasana, getting your hands in the right location. On an inhale, drop your seat, raise your arms, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot turns out. Right foot comes forward. Inhale, rise up to warrior 1 and pause here for 5 breaths. Work on your stance. Notice what's not quite working for you. Maybe your hips are not square to the front. If that's the case, draw your right hip back and push your left hip forward. Make sure your pinky toe on your left foot is down. And then on an exhale, slowly lower your arms to the outside, all the way down behind, interlace your fingers, push your palms down, lifting your chest up, and then exhale, forward fold, coming into humble warrior. The crown of your head comes down, your shoulder, right shoulder is inside that right knee, and your hands go up towards the ceiling. How's your breath doing? And 5, release your arms. Rotate them all the way back up to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. The right foot turns out. The left foot comes forward. Inhale, rise up to warrior 1. Maybe you can bend that left knee a little bit more. And 5, let your arms float down behind your back. This time, make your spine opposite the way it was so that your fists, your laced hands feel long. Push down, lifting your chest up. And then on an exhale, fold forward. Inside that right knee, left knee rather. Lift your palms up towards the ceiling. Your shoulder blades are really kissing. And 5, release. Inhale, rotate your arms back up into warrior 1. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Let's rest here for 5 breaths. Drop your shoulders, your chest between your shoulders. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms to Utkatasana, and then rise all the way up, and hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Okay, so next pose, next 2 poses, Padmasana, which is foot to your fingers, and then Padahastasana, sole of your foot to your palm. So from here, pop your feet apart wide, about as wide as your mat. Inhale, your arms overhead, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Grab onto your big toes with your peace fingers. Inhale, raise up halfway, stretching your arms, your wrists, your forearms. And then exhale, fold again. Using the strength in your arms to draw the crown of your head down, using your muscles to straighten out your legs. 5, release. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead and hands to Samasthiti. Now for Padahastasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Place your palms underneath the soles of your feet. Maybe your big toe come all the way, toes come all the way to your wrist crease, maybe not. Inhale, lift up halfway, or whatever you can, stretching your shoulders and your wrists, and then forward fold. You're lengthening your spine here. You're stretching your hamstrings and countering all those vinyasas. And 5, release your hands. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. Pop your feet back to hip width. And we're ready for the first optional vinyasa, even though all the others have been optional also. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Notice how this one feels. After you got to stretch out your arms, walk out your dog if that helps. Press your chest towards your thighs. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. and hands to Samasthiti. The next standing series is going to be triangle. So take a giant step back with your left foot. Your left foot points towards the left side of your mat, right foot towards the front. Bring your arms out into T. Now turn your body towards the side of the mat. Bring your hands down to your hips. If your hips are squared to the side of your mat, with your right hand, bring your right hip back about an inch and your left hip forward about an inch. Then bring your arms back into T. What that will do is that will make this into a very minor twist that makes triangle more possible. From here, drop that front hip down, raise your left hip up, and exhale, tip your triangle, bringing that right arm somewhere along the inside of that right leg. Coming down to your toes is not the goal. If you're leaning forward, that is not the goal. Your shoulder blades want to be vertical here. 4, 5, inhale, come all the way back up. Rotate your feet to the back of the mat. Do that cute little thing with your hip. Drop your left hip down, raise your right hip up, and then exhale. Lower that left arm. Raise that right arm, although depending if you have a shoulder issue, maybe you want to just bring that left arm behind your back. That might get you a little bit more vertical. And 5, inhale, rise all the way back up. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. Step your left foot in just a little, maybe a foot. Bring your arms out into T, facing the front of the mat. From here, let's bring your hands to your hips. That's where it really belongs. From here, we're going to do waterfall. This is a hamstring stretch. Inhale your chest high and exhale, forward fold. Coming down towards that right knee, or at least the right part of your chest towards that right knee. Draw that right hip back. Don't let that back hip right hip come forward. 4, 5, inhale, come all the way back up. Rotate your feet to the back. Adjust your foot locations. Inhale, chest high, and exhale, forward fold over that left leg. And what you're looking for is a lengthening of your left hamstring. You'll feel this in your glutes also, certainly in your Achilles, your gastrocnemius, in your soleus, in your calf. 5, inhale, come all the way back up. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. Step forward into Samasthiti. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Come down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And walk this up. Listen carefully. I'm changing this. So now on an inhale, I want you to, well, first exhale, lift that right leg up. And then on an exhale, bring that right foot up into a long, low lunge. And lower that left knee down. Bring your toenails down and raise your chest up. From here, we're going to do a little more for your shoulders. So take your left arm out straight and then bring your left hand palm up towards your front right corner of your mat. Take your right elbow underneath your left, coming into eagle arms, and maybe you can do eagle arms easily. Maybe it's a real challenge, but do the best you can. And from here, first, try raising up your elbows. And as you raise up your elbows, arch your back, gazing up, and feel this stretch across your back, all the way down, and you can feel this on your core. And then come forward, and then round your spine, like you're coming into cow pose. Doesn't matter how far you come. And on an inhale, come back up. Exhale, round your spine again. We'll do one more of these. Inhale, come up. Exhale, round your spine. And inhale back to center. Release your hands. Bring your hands down to the mat. Step your right knee back to meet the left. Coming into table. From here, right arm out to the side and up. Exhale, thread the needle. Left arm behind the right arm behind the left wrist. Come really far around. Then lift that left arm up. Bend the elbow around your back. Maybe you can touch the top of your right thigh. Open up your shoulders here. And 5. Left hand back down on the mat. Inhale, bring that right arm out and up. Hand to the mat. Come back into plank. And then up into down dog. Lift your left leg up. And then on an exhale, bring that left foot forward into a lunge and lower that right knee. Inhale, bring your chest up. This time the right arm towards the front left corner of your mat. Left elbow underneath the right. And maybe eagle arms don't look quite as good on this side. Doesn't matter. Inhale, arch your spine, gazing up. And then exhale, round your spine. Notice how different this is from the other side. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, back down. Inhale one more time. Exhale back down. Inhale back to center. Hands to the mat. Step your left knee back to meet the right. Into table, left arm out, horizontal. Inhale up. And then exhale, thread the needle. Really stretch that left shoulder open here. And 5, left hand down onto the mat next to your face. Inhale, rise up. Open up again. Hands to the mat. Inhale, curl your toes under. Lift your hips up into down dog. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead and hands to Namaskara. Okay, so now we have side angle. One of my favorites. So come to Tadasana. Take a giant step back with your left foot again. This time, bend your front knee. Bring your arms out into T. From here, check to make sure your shoulders and your hips are square to the side of the mat. And then when you're ready, bend that left elbow, lower that forearm down over the middle of your thigh. As you tip forward, take that left arm up over your head and reach towards the intersection of the wall and the ceiling. An option, you can always reach that right hand all the way down to the mat. But if you use your forearm on your thigh, you can push your chest back and open up, get a little more vertical here. And 5, inhale, rise all the way back up into T, straight legs. Rotate your feet to the other side. Bend that left knee. Check out your warrior 2. And then on an exhale, begin to fold over into side angle on the left. Reach that right arm up overhead. Gaze can be overhead, can be on the mat. And 5, inhale, rise all the way back up. Rotate your feet again. We're going to do a prayer twist here. So bend that front knee. You might have to change your left foot position, but bring your arms into T, headed forward. Now rotate your chest to the right. Maybe your toes all come towards the front of your mat. Bring your hands to heart center. And then on an exhale, hold over that right knee into prayer twist. And again, the object is to get your shoulders vertical. Drop that hip, both hips down. And on an inhale, release, rise back up. Straighten both legs, rotate your feet. Bring your arms out into T, facing to the back of your mat. Rotate to the left this time. Bring your hands to heart center. Bend that knee, and then fold forward. Left elbow over, right elbow over left knee. Five, release. Inhale, come back to center. Rotate towards the front of the mat. Step forward into Samasthiti. Then into Tadasana. One more standing series. Inhale, after this vinyasa, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. This is optional. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Drop your chest between your shoulders. Straighten your legs. 4, 5. Look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. To forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti. Next is Prasarita A, B, C, and D. So from here to Tadasana, giant step back, left foot. Bring both feet towards the side of your mat. And you can adjust how wide your legs are. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest high. And exhale, forward fold. Coming forward. Your hands can come to the mat if you wish, or keep them up on your hips. If your hands come down, try to get your fingers pointed the same direction as your toes. Five, bring your hands to your hips. And then on an inhale, rise all the way up. Just move your hands to the back of your hips. So your fingertips are just on the corners of your iliac crest. Inhale, chest high. And exhale, come forward. And as you're coming forward, keep your elbows coming toward each other. As the crown of your head comes down towards the mat, you can adjust the width of your feet, but feel this in your groins. And then on the next inhale, rise all the way back up, using your elbows to help. Bring your arms out into T, thumbs down. Bring your hands behind your hips. Interlace your fingers. Push your palms down towards the floor, lifting up your chest, gazing up. And then exhale, forward fold. And as you come forward, your hands come up towards the ceiling. Four and five. On the inhale, rise back up, using your hands to help pull you up. Bring your arms back out into T. Inhale and exhale, forward fold again. This time your hands come down on your legs. Maybe you can grab onto your big toes. But again, the crown of your head is the target towards the floor. And the floor is just the location, just the direction. And five. On your next inhale, rise all the way back up. From here, you can heel toe your feet in, or maybe just hop your feet together. And then step to the front of your mat. For another vinyasa, this time you end up in Dandasana on the mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Four and five. From here, if you can jump through into seated position, go for it. If you can't, walk, step, sit down, rotate, do what you need to do. Okay, in Dandasana. It's a simple seated pose that's not quite as simple as you think. Your feet can be any distance apart. Inhale, your spine tall. If your calves don't touch, maybe bring your palms a little bit behind your hips. Otherwise, keep your hands at your hips. Lift your chest. And five, release. From here, cross your ankles, lift your knees high. If you want to bump up to maintain your heat, if your arms are long enough, you don't need blocks, mine aren't. But from here, on an inhale, push into the mat where the blocks bump up, and then kick your feet out in front. Now we have Padmasana A and B. So inhale tall, exhale forward fold, and grab onto your toes with your fingers. Draw your collarbones forward. Getting your chin to your knees or to your feet is not the target. Collarbones towards your feet, crown of your head towards the wall beyond. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. And exhale, immediately forward fold again. This time, make a bind on the outside of your feet, or maybe you can bind your hands on the bottom of your feet. And again, this is a spine lengthener and a hamstring stretch. And 5, release. Sit all the way back up. Cross your ankles again. Lift your knees high. The higher your knees are, the easier this becomes. Easy is a relative term. Inhale, up, up, and then bring your feet forward. Now, Janusirsasana. Bend your right knee, right sole to your inner left thigh. Notice the elevation of your right knee. Inhale, tall. Exhale, reach for your left toes with both hands. Draw that left hip forward. And 5, release. Inhale, sit all the way back up. Exhale, forward fold. This time, make a bind across the bottom of your foot. And notice how much farther you're going this way in this asymmetric pose. And that's exactly why we're doing it, because teasing your muscles, symmetric, and then you can get into them a little bit more asymmetric. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, lift your right foot up. Bring that right heel into your left hip crease or on top of your left thigh, kind of like in a pigeon pose. You may want to put a block underneath your right knee. Inhale, tall, and then forward fold towards that left foot. Maybe you can come far forward, maybe not. It doesn't matter. It's the stretch that you're after. Notice that right knee. If there's any pain, any sensation, back up. Flex that right foot a little bit if you need to. That will help keep the knee from twisting. And then exhale, release. Come all the way up. Release the right foot out to meet the left. Bring the left sole into your left thigh. Inhale your spine tall. That's the most important part here. The more length you have in your spine, the farther forward you can come because you've created more space between your vertebrae. Inhale, tall, exhale, forward fold. And maybe this side is not quite as flexible as the other. If you're right-handed and right-footed, you're probably a little tired here because you have a lot more muscle. 4, 5, release. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale right back down. Bind across the bottom of that foot if you can. You can always use a strap or a towel. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, lift that that left heel up. Bring it into the hip crease if you can. Protect that left knee. And maybe both sides are identical. Maybe not. Probably not. But just make sure this doesn't hurt. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, forward fold. Notice the difference. This is not a deficiency if you're not as far on the other side. You're not going to, your grade won't be marked down because of it. although you probably won't get onto the cover of Yoga Journal. And release, inhale, sit all the way back up. Release your left foot out to meet the right. Then cross your ankles, lift your knees high for another bump. On an inhale, bump up, and then kick your feet out. From here, bring your footprints onto the mat. Bring your hands behind your hips. And on an inhale, tuck your tailbone under and lift your hips up into reverse table. And when up here, drag your heels isometrically towards your hands. Push your your knees towards the front of the mat. And you can feel your pelvis being raised up. And then push your pelvis up. Feel the stretch in your front of your arms. And then on an exhale, lower back down. Cross your ankles, lift your knees for another bump. On an inhale, bump up. Feet forward. Okay, Marichi. So for Marichi, bend your right knee. Bring your right heel up towards your right sit bone. This first Marichi A is a forward fold, trying to come inside that right knee. So inhale your spine tall, left leg is out straightish, and then forward fold on an exhale. If you can reach that left foot and pull, go right ahead. This is a yan pose, a strength pose. Certainly nothing like the yin I teach. 4 and 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, inhale tall, bring your left hand behind your hips. Lengthen your spine, and that will give you more twist. And then on an exhale, twist to the left. If that right shoulder can get in front of that right knee, that makes this a little bit easier. And 5, release. Come back to center. This time, left hand grabs onto your right knee. Bring your right hand behind your hips. Inhale your spine tall, and then twist to your right. And most of your twist is in your lumbar spine. Your thoracic spine has 12 vertebrae. Your lumbar spine has 5. And, but your thoracic is so restricted by all the ribs attached. And then exhale, come back to center. From here, bend that left knee, and bring that left heel close to your right sit bone behind your right heel. Keep that right knee bent and high. Bring that arm around behind your back again. Inhale tall and twist to the right. If you can get that left arm on top of that right thigh, that's good. Maybe you can even bring that left arm around towards your left side body in front of your knee. And 5, release. Come back to center. Bring both legs out in front. This time, bend your left knee. Bring your left heel up close to your left sit bone, not right on top of it. Inhale your spine tall. You can grab onto that left foot if you wish. Maybe your left arm can come in front of your left shin. Maybe you can get your knee into your armpit. Inhale tall, and then exhale forward fold. And 5, release. Inhale, come back up. And then on an exhale, bring your right hand behind your back, lift high, and then twist your right. Ultimately, this pose could end up with you making a bind of your right hand behind your back, your left hand in front of your left leg. And then exhale, come back to center. From here, right hand reaches your left knee. Left hand comes behind. Inhale, spine tall. And exhale, twist to the left. And then exhale, release, come back to center. This time, bend your right knee, right heel next to your left sit bone. Inhale, tall, left hand behind your back, and twist to the left. Maybe your right arm comes in over the top of your left thigh as you twist to the left. Maybe that's just a dream. And 5, release. Come back to center. Bring both legs out in front. And then bend your knees, cross your ankles, lift your knees high. And bump up when you wish on an inhale. Kick your feet out in front. And coming into Badakanasana, or butterfly pose. So this is a 2-stage pose. So your soles of your feet are together. Grab onto your feet initially. Sit up tall. Again, tall is more important than having a great grip on your toes. If your arms are short, maybe just grab onto your ankles, but get your spine tall. Inhale, and then exhale, forward fold. And your spine is straight. Your collarbones are going towards the front of your mat, the crown of your head towards the far wall. You can feel your groins opening and your knees dropping towards the mat. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. From here, move your feet out a comfortable amount. Now this is completely up to you. One way that you can do this, you can bring your forearms underneath your ankles if that works for you. Otherwise, just a forward fold. But inhale, your spine tall again. And on an exhale, forward fold. If you do bring your forearms underneath, what happens is you get the added weight of your legs helping pull down your chest, lengthening your spine. But again, you're trying to lengthen your spine. You're not trying to round. Now in this position, move the person behind you. They won't mind. And see how much farther forward you come. And 5, release, inhale. Come all the way back up. Cross your ankles, lift your knees high for one final bump up. Your feet out in front. Now we come to Padmasana, or Lotus pose. So we're going to do this on both sides, just to see what your body can do today. And the only restriction that you have is if you have pain. So you probably have an idea of which side is going to be better or easier. So take the one that's going to be more of a challenge. For me, it's my left side. So I'm going to put my left heel up onto my left hip crease. Now, the alternative to this is just to sit in Sukhasana with your legs crossed. There's nothing magical. You won't get extra credit for getting into Lotus. And I've been doing yoga. This is my 11th year. And I wasn't able to get into a Lotus until my 6th year when I did teacher training, and then only twice until this past summer. COVID really helped. Not that I had COVID. But anyway, okay, from here, now that your left hip is a little more comfortable, maybe you can lift that other foot, other heel up over the top of your opposite ankle so that your feet are both on top. And then sit up, just rest your hands there for, just gonna stay here for 5 breaths. I've already talked through probably that. And then open your eyes. If you wanna stay here, you certainly can. But if you'd like to try the other side, carefully untangle your feet and then bring the other heel up into your hip crease. And the key is the higher up in your hip crease that foot gets, the easier it is. And then try the other leg. Now the complete Padmasana is where you reach around your right arm behind your back and grab onto your right toes, and your left arm around behind back and grab onto your right toes. Yeah, that's pretty much a dream for me too. But from here, sit upright, bring your arms out into T with your palms down. Bring your hands, bend your elbows, bring them behind your back, and maybe you can make a mudra with your hands, or maybe all you can do is grasp fingertips. But from here, inhale your spine tall, touch your chin just a little bit. Inhale, and then exhale, begin to forward fold, and continue forward folding through 10 breaths. Don't try to get over quickly, but follow your body as it comes forward. How does it change? And if you get to a point that's intolerable, back up right away. Pain is bad 100% of the time. And 10. Release, come all the way back up, keeping your feet and your legs tangled. Now we have the option for Talasana, and that is to elevate, to hover by pushing your hands into the mat or onto your blocks, lifting your hips up, and then breathing using lion's breath. So you'll inhale, and then exhale. I always like to say, my Ashtanga book says 100 breaths. But anyway, whatever you can do, and if you're using blocks or your hands, if you bring your hands farther forward, maybe almost mid-thigh, what you're doing is you are rotating up so you don't have to lift. All you're doing is you're rotating, and mysteriously, your hips raise up. Some days are easier than others. Then the closing pose. Bring your arms out straight, your palms up. You can make a mudra with your fingers if you wish. Bring the backs of your hands or the back of your wrists on top of your knees. Inhale your spine tall. Tuck your chin. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose. Exhale it out through your nose. For another 10 breaths. Your head can be bowed, or your gaze through your eyelids can be at the horizon. It's whatever is appropriate for you today. Nine. And 10. Open your eyes. Carefully untangle your feet and notice the warmth in your feet as you untangle. And then straighten out your legs to the front of your mat. Maybe windshield wiper your knees from left to right if that feels good. You can do a yoga bicycle if that feels good for you. And then lower your heels down, come all the way down onto your back. Reach your palm, hands up towards the ceiling. Rotate your arms towards the wall beyond your head. And push your heels away from your palms. Push your toenails away from your fingernails. Do that a couple more times if you wish. Prepare yourself for Shavasana. Maybe spread your toes and your fingers wide. Touch your feet, your toes, and your fingers. Then return your arms back down by your side. Here you can insert any other poses that you may have missed or that your body needs. Walk your feet out a comfortable distance apart for your legs. Maybe rock your hips from one side to the other, finding the perfect spot for you. Gently roll your head from left to right, tucking your chin a bit. Take a deep cleansing breath into your nose. Exhale it out through your nose. And another. And take rest. begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your space. Bring movement to your fingers and to your toes. To your wrists and to your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. And when you're ready, bend your knees, walk your feet up towards your sit bones. Draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. Rock from left to right, or maybe make circles on the ceiling with your knees. That's better for your back and your hips. Make sure you go the opposite direction. And then the next time you're over on your right side, pause there in a fetal pose for just a moment and do a quick scan of your body for any tension or stresses that might still be hiding somewhere in your tissues for you to address later this week. And then use the strength in your hand, left hand, to push the floor away and rise up to a seated position. Thank you for joining me in this Ashtanga class today. The gratitude I feel towards each of you is great. And the peace and the compassion and the empathy that you practice on your mat gives me hope. Take that compassion and empathy with you everywhere you go and share it with your family, your friends, and those you might meet. Namaste. My name is Clint, and this has been Ashtanga Yoga. Thanks for coming.